mapping issue. Remember the mapping issue and how it almost tore the state apart, and we were constantly here talking about it. Now the stock creeks is another issue. Twicon, what's your take?
First off, I think this is one issue that has been so topical and very, very tensed. Lately, if you stay in Eket, and Ibono, that axis, you will see that, those who are living there, the traders, the visitors, the strangers are living in fears because you never can tell what will happen. We kept seeing, press statement, counter press statement, protests, reactions, and the rest of it. I want to say I am aware that the matter is in court. The Eket People's Union had gone to court. They took the state government to court over the Stubbs Creek Forest Reserve. And then just recently, I think if not this, that should be last week, the state governor or the state government through the Ministry of Justice had joined issues in court with the Eket People's Union. And so I would think, for me, I have followed this matter right from the days of Udo Emmanuel's administration when it came up. And I still maintain one position, that we need political solution. I do not believe that we should kill ourselves over land, over forest reserve. How many years are we going to live on earth? All these are earthly things. I am now being spiritual. I think that all these things are what we are going to leave behind. Yes, no one will want to allow his right to be taken by another, but whatever it is, there's need for caution to be applied. Under the Land Use Act, I think 1978, the governor, all lands in the state is held by the governor in trust
in trust.
That is the word, in trust, for the people. Except
federal lands.
Yeah, and those ones you call federal lands are where you have the mineral resources, right? Anywhere you have mineral resources like crude oil become federal property because it is in the exclusive legislative list of the federal government. And so now, when these laws have clearly stated that all lands are held by the governor in trust for the people, it doesn't also imply that the governor owns the land. Mark the word. He said he holds in trust. Now, if there is going to be public facility that will benefit the entire state and the entire populace, the government has the right to use any land that it considered will serve the purpose of public interest. Now, in using that land, you also have to pay compensation to the owners of those lands. This is what the law says. So, this argument or controversies or debate here and there, I don't think will take us anywhere. We need development. We need progress. If you go to Mparinin, for instance, you have the plantain, what is it called again? The coconut plantation refinery. That is our land. My land is part of it. But because the government came and said we want to build public facility that will serve the entire state, we had to donate that land and we are paid compensation. If you go to where you have the airport today, the Victor Atai International Airport, you have Inseretai, you have Urwan, you have those who are the owners, or Kobo, those are the owners of the land that donated the land, were also given compensation. So since the matter is in court, I would always say, like I've always been saying, that there is need for the gladiators or agitators to also apply political solution to it. I am aware that some stakeholders, had mediated some. I think that should be like last week, and had critical meetings with stakeholders to resolving the matter. I would think that is the best way out. Court, yes, is good for the sake of justice, but justice might not give the permanent peace that you need. You understand me now? Back the word, justice and peace. What you need is peace. You can get justice, you don't have peace. But you need peace in the entire state. And so if there is crisis in any segment of the state, the entire state is seen to be in crisis. Because injustice to one is injustice to all. Where there is any fragment of dispute like we used to have in Okuiboku and Itu, right? And then you have in Aruchuku and Ini. And this continues to affect activities in those areas. So my appeal this morning is that since the matter is in court, let us apply caution. That's one. Two, we need political solution. When Obamota was the governor of Akwa Ibom State, I remember sometime in 2000, he began the campaign for resources control. And that angered the president of the country, who now, through his attorney general, went to court. Obasanjo, through his attorney general, Bola Ige, went to court to challenge as to who owns the lateral water. At the end of the day, the court made pronouncement. It did not bring peace. What that brought peace was political solution. That is why I keep on emphasizing that we need political solution to that matter, because the matter, for me, if you don't handle it in such a way that you will bring peace in the area, no matter whatever you cite in that area, there will still be crisis. Yes, the government had said we're going to allow the coastal highway to pass through the forest reserve. Fine and good, because that is a public facility, a public project. But then, what are the agitators of the people of Eket? What are they saying? You also need to listen to them. Now, when you see a child crying and pointing his hands towards one direction, check it. Is either the mother of that child is there, or the person who has beaten the child to cry is there. So either of these two. Now, when you see the people of Eket always pointing their hands towards government, you understand me now? They need government to come and resolve the issue, because the sovereignty of the state lies with the government. Government is the only one that can resolve any of such conflict. And so, while this is in court, there is need for government to also use diplomacy, dialogue, and negotiation to get this matter resolved and bring peace in that area. Because you need the people of Eket, people of Esreket, and people of Ibno to come together as family to continue to coexist and live as brothers that they have always been.
But also, when the governor went to commission, that was sometime not far, he had said, "Come, let's talk." He made a categorical statement, before even, being stern, issuing a stern warning. He has said, "Come, let us dialogue." Are you not concerned about, the rants on social media, the contents, and even the threats, even to the governor by some persons, in quote, content creators?
Well, I if you want me to comment on what the governor had said, I will say, as someone who analyzes public statement and policies, I will say that the statement of the governor provoked more reactions, because there was an element of the statement that tagged those EPU, Eket People's Union, as terrorists. You see them coming out to say we reject terrorists, tagged label also. It seems that the governor's statement seemed to label that those who are agitating for that Stop Creek matter as as not being fair to the state, as non-state actors who want to cause violence, right? And that further polarized the argument. This governor's statement at Yoruba, I think he went to commission a hospital there, and that statement from that date that the government made that address, the matter that was almost lying low came up flaming. So I would have thought that like I have said in some fora, that for me, the governor is a father of all. The governor should be gubernatorial in his approach to resolving state issues like this. Even when you have...
But what preceded that particular statement, if you recall, he had showed a peaceful disposition by saying, "Come, let us talk. Come, let us dialogue," before he went ahead to make some, categorical statements.
Yes, you see, like I have said, the governor should be gubernatorial in his approaches to resolving state issues that are very, 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 very critical. There are comments that you will make as a governor, you will rather worsen the matter than bring in peace. when Obama was going about canvassing for resources control that provoked Obasanjo. When the matter went to court, Obasanjo was asking, let the court make pronouncement. Even when the court made pronouncement, Obama was in between press conferences. We were still talking. We had the South People's Conference. I was part of those who were canvassing for control of resources. The judges came out, the Egbesus and the rest. Obasanjo did not use sledgehammer, right? He needed to allow for dialogue. Even when he saw our comment, our public, then we did not have much of social media, but press conferences were held, protests, the judges, the Egbesus, the EFIC, the BBOs, and the rest. In the entire region, we have, restiveness. We used to have the dressing we call orderly. That became a uniform that we all used to wear. Then it was a senator who used to wear it and have meeting led by late Chief Harold and late Chief Edwin Clark. I was the South youth leader of that movement. Obama was always speaking, and we are always speaking. We are not tagged any label. We are not, being chased away. We have the right to freedom of expression and to agitate for our right. But now, having said this, I'm trying to say that even when the governor is provoked by what he has seen on social media, that should not guide his emotion. It should not make him to stay there and raise issues or make comment that will further polarize the conversations or the agitations. So for me, like I have said, what we need is dialogue. What we need is diplomacy. What we need is negotiation to get this matter resolved. And we need political solution that will get this matter out of court and let all the stakeholders be willing to give and take. Because there's why you can win all. Let it be a win-win situation. We need peace in Eket, peace in Eket, and peace in Lebanon.
You've talked about peace and political solution. This Stubbs group issue dates back almost to a century. In the 1930s, then the 1960s case and the rest of it. Then it's amplified in 2021 2021 during the former administration of Udomi Emmanuel. This is a very long period. Is it that they have not really come to an agreement over time, that this dialogue, these conversations have not been held? That's the first question. The second question is they are agitating for compensation. And you've talked about compensation. Do you think the government would look in that direction, be that compensation should be, and you've alluded to pertaining where you were paid compensation under the Land Use Act, compensation should be paid to movable properties that has been developed, and that's a forest reserve. Do you think they would be paid compensation? And also the third question is the actions of the government, triggering this more, because we've seen some agitators being arrested.
I think he alluded to that. I think he alluded to your third question when he said a statement by the governor, he used the term may have provoked, especially the latter part of his statement, the last time he went for that commission. I think he alluded to that point.
And also the people that have been arrested, sued for defamation and the rest of it. Is it still triggering?
That is why I said that we need political solution. If we are going by right, what is right, we might not get to anywhere because everybody will be claiming right. Like you have said now, from centuries ago, the matter had been on and it has not been resolved.
And there's a popular saying, might is not always right.
That's it. And all stakeholders are holding onto their rights. Nobody wants to give. Nobody wants to concede. So if you want to go by who is right and who is not right, this matter will not be resolved. You need political solution. And what is political solution? You must give and take. When you are going for a dialogue table, you will always have the mindset, have an open mind to also give. When, for instance, ASU and the federal government had just signed an agreement. That agreement we had in 2007 when it was signed by about two governments ago.
16 years.
16 years. That is all. You can see that. So over a decade ago, agreement was signed by federal government and ASU, and it wasn't implemented. ASU keep on coming out to protest, to go on strike every now and then. But this government had come up and said, okay, we also want to go into, let us renegotiate. Let us go back to the dialogue table. ASU, you also concede some. We too will concede some. In order for peace to reign. And then at the end of the day, dialogue had been reached. Now agreement has now been re-signed. So what am I saying? If you want to go by who is right and what the law says. That is justice now, a rule of law. You might not have the needed peace that you need in the area. And I'm saying that the governor, for instance, the governor has investment in Eket. He lived in Eket. His investment is there, and I believe
So
that
he's a part of them.
Part of them. So after his service to the state,
He might
retire to Eket. So I want to see a case where the governor will go back to Eket and meet those his peers, those his friends, and then he's no more the governor, and he could move on the street of Eket. You know, people will like, this is our own, and so forth, because his investment are all there, and perhaps he speaks the language of Eket because they have their own language. I don't know how to speak Eket, but the governor can speak the Eket language because he grew up there. His investment are all in Eket. So I want to see a case where the matter is resolved using political solution. At the end of the day, the governor will be happy, the people of Eket will be happy, Eket, Ibno, and all of us will be happy. Then there will be justice for all. But when you want to say what the law says, yes, you might not pay compensation to people who for trees that are not,
that is a
economic
bone of
trees.
contention right there. That is a bone of contention.
That is why I said
because it is a reserve.
economic trees are not there. Now I'm saying this. I don't know what is before the court, but I'm saying that we need political solution. You can overlook so many things. And listen to these babies. What are they saying? I said when a child is crying, what is the child crying? What are they saying? Are they saying that they need to be paid for these trees that are not, that are not of economic, interest?
Importance.
Or what are they asking for? Then you also listen to them. When you now hear what they are saying, can what they are saying be looked into? Can it be resolved? Are they asking for what cannot be done?
Is there an alternative?
Alternative to it? And then if there is alternative to it, if what they are asking for can be handled, can be resolved, then fine. You resolve it. You handle it. You are the government. And they are pointing at the government. They're not pointing at any other persons. They are pointing at government. And government has joined issues with them in court. So my take is that we need political solution. We don't want to go by what the law says. Otherwise, at the end of the day, you might have justice, but you don't have the peace that you need in Eket.
That's very wise, Otuekong. Very wise position you've presented there. You could have justice, but you lose peace. Now, let's leave that for a moment, and hopefully the situation will be politically resolved, or any other way we can have all the father figures in the state come together to see that we have a resolution. Now let's talk about the local government administration in Akwa Ibom State. Last week we spoke briefly about it, taking reference from Taraba, what we had seen, and about them getting their local government allocations and using it effectively. We're back to talking about it again. Otuekong, have you noticed any difference since this advocacy for good governance, especially at the local level, started? Have you looked at the body language? Does it look like they're ready to do what you were talking about, or are we going to be on this one again for year 2026?
I think I will rather adopt your last prayer. We'll be on this for 2026. Because like I said, a pastor was posted to a church, and the pastor kept preaching a particular message from, I think, John chapter 2 verse 3.